Yo, welcome back to another episode. Before we get into this week's episode, make sure you like, comment, subscribe on the video. We appreciate all the support. Let's go ahead.
Amen on that. So first, let's get into the protest, okay? So this is an article from the New York Times. It says, taking cues from students, UCLA faculty members join the protest. At UCLA, a few professors helped negotiate with the university. At Columbia, they guarded the encampment, but not all faculty members are on board. Earlier this week, some faculty members at the University of California, Los Angeles, had an emergency call with students who were active in the pro-Palestinian protest. Excuse me. We just got a really clear message from them. We feel unsafe, and we like your help in fixing this. Recalled Graham Blair, an associate professor of political science. In that moment, several dozen faculty activists volunteered to join the students in shifts around the clock in their encampment on the campus. And in the dark hours of Thursday morning, as the police cracked down on the protest, those faculty members were linking arms with students, allowing themselves to be arrested. It was one of the clearest instances of a little noted fact of the student demonstration against the war on Gaza, that a small fraction of faculty members at UCLA, Columbia, and other universities have provided logistical and emotional support to the protesters. Some faculty members have formal ties to faculty and staff for Justice in Palestine, the counterpart of Students for Justice in Palestine, a decentralized national network of pro-Palestinian groups. Others are not necessarily sympathetic to the Palestinian cause, but see a moral obligation to protect the free speech and the welfare of their students, who are facing some of the biggest disruptions to their educational lives since the pandemic. It is a breach of trust they would call the police on our students, said Stephanie McCurry, a history professor at Columbia University, who watched over the perimeter of the encampment before the last police sweep on Tuesday morning. The issue has torn apart the facilities at these universities more than a few that say the activist professors are romanticizing the demonstrations, which have thrown campuses into chaos. It is a sad way to end the semester, said James Applegate, an astronomy professor at Columbia University. At Columbia, some faculty members had shown their support of the students, if not necessarily for their message, by visiting the encampment before it was swept away by the police. They delivered food and water, incorporated the protests into their academic lessons, participated in the panel discussion, and stood guard outside the perimeter to make it harder for the authorities to evict the students. For the faculty members did not necessarily agree with the views of the students on Gaza, said Camille Robix, a history professor at Columbia, but she said, I believe in their right to protest more than anything. Over the last few chaotic days, they had communicated with one another through listservs and the encrypted Signal app. On the encrypted Signal app, signing up for time slots to appear on campus, it is a counterweight pro-Israel faculty members and students form their own WhatsApp and email support groups. Those have been really helpful, said Carol Ewing Garba, a professor of applied psychology at Teacher College and affiliate of Columbia. They actually brought people together who had never met before. It was a silver lining. Bruce Robinson, an English professor at Columbia, is among those who are more devoted to the Palestinian cause, a member of Columbia's chapter of faculty and staff for Justice in Palestine. He brought one of his classes to the tent as part of a course studying atrocities. It was one of the things the faculty who supported the encampment did, he said, was to take their classes inside the encampment. Two of his students, who believes were former members of the Israeli military, did not show up for that lesson. I was planning on making it as comfortable as I could, he said, but I think the feeling in the class was not running in their favor, and they may be why they did not show up. At one point, students asked the faculty members to help protect them, Dr. Robbins said. We were described as de-escalators. Several faculty members put on orange safety vests, he said, and got a quick training on how to not to get in a fight. If they push past us, let them push past us. I played football, he said. It was not my instinct to de-escalate, but that's what I was there to do. Dr. Applegate, the astronomy professor, thought the faculty's participation in the campus protests were part of a romanticization of the Vietnam-era anti-war protests. These guys are trying to relive 1968, he said, referring to a violent confrontation with the police that took Columbia back then. I don't think they have any intention of having a sensible conversation with anybody. At UCLA, members of Faculty for Justice in Palestine helped negotiate with the administration. Dr. Blair said the faculty members even hired a professional to train them in de-escalating physical or verbal conflict, he said, with the idea that the faculty could help play this role. Dr. Blair also called on her sister, Susanna Blair, a lecturer at art history at Columbia, to share her experience with about 75 UCLA faculty members on Zoom. She told them how most other students were hungry to talk about what they were going through, even though they came from different backgrounds and experienced things differently. Their libraries are closed right now, she said in an interview. It's finals. They have had friends arrested. Some of them have been protesting against genocide, and this has deeply disrupted all sorts of aspects in their lives. The crisis at UCLA reached a climax on Thursday morning. Protesters learned that the administration was going to shut down their encampment, Dr. Blair said. Almost finished. The faculty was there to try to be the first people arrested, to stand in front of the students to bear witness, he said. We watched them from a vantage as the California Highway Patrol aimed weapons that were using non-lethal ammunition. We basically pleaded with them not to aim their weapons at our students at what was an entirely peaceful protest. Ultimately, about 200 protesters were arrested along with about 10 faculty members, Dr. Blair said. Many were lecturers and assistant professors without the protections of tenure, he said, adding, it remains to be seen what the consequences will be. A correction was made on May 2nd, 2024. An earlier version of this article misstated the name of a pro-Palestinian group at the University of California, Los Angeles. It is a Faculty for Justice in Palestine, not a faculty and staff for Justice in Palestine. Another correction on May 6, 2024. An earlier version of this article misstated Susanna Blair's position at Columbia University. She is a lecturer, not an adjunct lecturer. All right, brother. Give me your thoughts on that.
Give me a synopsis of this entire situation, because like that article was long and all over the place.
It was very long. I apologize for that. I apologize.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'll give a brief synopsis. So
not even just for me, but for the listeners, like a synopsis on everything that the article said and that's taking place currently, as far as we know.
So pretty much what happened is everybody knows about the Israel and Palestine conflict.
Right. So
you have individuals at Ivy League schools, prestigious universities that are protesting the Israel and Palestine conflict. So now you have them taking up arms, and not taking up arms, but making an encampment in other faculty halls, encampment outside of the schools, encampments anywhere, like standing there protesting, for the Palestine and Israel conflict.
And so now, not to cut you off, but an encampment for the people is basically where students are pretty much staying overnight. They're
like a refuge, like exactly. a tent, chairs, maybe like campfires, all these different type of things. You know what I mean? It's not like they're gonna have food and water and all that. They may have that. They may get donations for that, but it's pretty much outside. You're protesting. You're living in the rough right now.
Right.
You have students that are part of the pro-Palestine movement with their at these Ivy League, at these universities, and now you have academics like lecturers, faculty members, associate professors with tenure, kind of coming to grips of the protest and going out and helping their students. And then, like I said in the article, you have tidbits from pro-Palestinian. And you have tidbits from individuals that are pro-Israel. And like the other doctor, he was just like, I'm out of it. Like, I just think people are just playing into this too much and romanticizing this event. He compared it to 1968 with the Vietnam War. Like, they just want something like that so they can say, oh, I was a part of that. Right. That's what his get up is. So this article is just displaying that in length, and also getting sides of individuals that are part of the protest and the faculty members. Like it stated, there was an arrest that was done. They arrested like 200 students, 10 faculty members at I believe at UCLA. So because
why were police involved?
The university doesn't want this, because what this does, it closes down the university. It raises alarm. It causes issues, and it creates a big conflict to where the university has to shut down a lot of the things that they're doing. So compare it to this, right? Your parents are paying $150,000, $120,000 to send you to Harvard, right? People are protesting in the faculty where your classes are being held. They're shut down. Now you don't have class. But your
I mean,
parents,
I can imagine why the university wouldn't want it,
right?
but do they not have the right to? I mean, because it's the protests are peaceful up to this point,
So
right?
so
Like,
that so there's been reports of it being peaceful sometimes and not peaceful sometimes. Like it becomes a thing of if you're doing an encampment, right,
mm-hmm.
somewhere public, why are you trying to close down certain faculties, certain halls? Like that shouldn't be a thing, right?
But isn't that the point of a protest? Is to disrupt, to be
No, a
disruptive,
protest. No,
to bring awareness
a
and
protest is to bring awareness. If you're gonna disrupt how the school is functioning, that sounds like a riot to me. That's treading fine lines, right? Because if I'm protesting ShopRite, right?
mm-hmm.
You know, I'm a vegetarian. I don't eat meat. I'm protesting how ShopRite is selling meat. When I go into ShopRite and I take the meat and I take all the meat out of the packaging and I throw it on the floor. I throw it everywhere in the store. I've just did a physical disruptive protest that wasn't peaceful at all. It's not
Exactly.
peaceful. It's not. That's illegal. That can be disorderly conduct. That can be causing a riot. That can be disturbing the peace wherever state you're from. You can be
Right.
charged with that. So
Yeah, that's committing a crime.
I don't think police are like, oh, it's police are doing this because the university is saying, yo, we don't want this. This is impeding upon how we're conducting business.
I
It's
mean, but to the point that you just made about the person who goes into the supermarket and picks up the pack of meat and starts, obviously destroying packaging, et cetera, et cetera. What law is being broken that would require police presence? I mean, they're
if you're
not loitering;
impeding,
they're students,
if
right?
you're impeding the flow of students to get to point A and point B, you're disrupting business at the school. There's videos. I don't have any videos to show, but
Yeah,
there's videos
yeah,
of students, locking arms in a protest. Mind you, I don't have a dog in the fight in this one. I'm just telling you what I've
yeah.
seen and what I know. There's video of students, pro-Palestinian students, locking arms, and students trying to get by to get to where they need to go. They're stopping them. Why are you impeding individuals trying to get to where they need to go? They're not trying to disrupt your protest. They're just trying to get to point A to point B. That's a problem. That's impeding business. You're stopping individuals from conducting regular business.
I mean,
That's not a protest. A protest is we're going to stand outside. We're going to stand at Legislative Hall. We're going to stand here with our signs and we're going to protest until people come and say, oh my God, look what they're doing. If we go into the courtroom at Legislative Hall and we start tearing things down or we start not allowing people to come in, that's a problem. You can't do that. You're going to be arrested.
no,
You,
I mean,
you can't impede business. You can't impede business. So now I'm all for freedom of speech. I'm all for protest and peaceful protest. But when it comes to impeding individuals trying to get their education, you got academics and faculty taking sides and everything like that. It can, that's a little bit, I'm not going to say it's biased, but it's a little bit of cause of concern, right? Because now I get it. These individuals are protesting a war that's going on that they don't feel comfortable with or they think it's wrong. I 100% agree and I totally get it. But at the end of the day, there's different ways to have your message heard. There's different ways to do a
of
protest.
course.
You know what I mean? I'm not saying what they're doing is wrong. Don't get it twisted. I'm saying there's other ways to go about it because if it wasn't an issue, because we're not talking about conservative schools here. We're talking about Ivy League, very liberal schools. They're not top of the line conservative schools. UCLA, Columbia, they're very liberal. So why are they concerned? Why are their deans of their schools telling police, "Hey, we need to get this taken care of"? If they're all for it, if they're okay with it, then why are they complaining about it?
I mean, I don't know. I know when it comes to protesting, um, the point of a protest is to force uncomfortability. Obviously with the point of bringing awareness to said issue. So if they were to protest in a way that makes UCLA feel comfortable, is it actually a protest? It's not. In essence, it's not really a protest. So, um, I'm all for the the right to protest and to actually, put on a peaceful demonstration, regardless of how comfortable the business may be. If no laws are being broken, and I'm not going to agree with any police being called or any police breaking up any peaceful protest. Now, listen, if somebody is trying to walk through, granted, you can probably walk around. There's nothing that
Right.
says that you have to walk through this space. So you essentially, by trying to walk through me, are trying to break up my peaceful protest.
I mean, if that's the only
But
way, then what are you gonna do?
what you mean? Like if you walking into a building, unless we in a building the size of my desk, then what's to stop you from just walking around me?
You're stopping me from getting to the only access point into the building. How am I gonna get into the building?
So am I stopping you from getting access into the building, or are you accessing the
If
building
I'm
and you
saying
just gotta walk
if
around
I'm
me?
walking and
Like, do you?
you
Is
say
it
no, you
because
can't.
obviously I ain't see the video, but like if
I,
you can walk
I gotta
around
send the
me,
video. I gotta
then
send the video. I
if
gotta
you could
send
walk around me, then walk around me. Ain't no
yeah.
reason for you to be trying to walk through me. Like
Yeah.
is to me. I mean, like I said, if you trying to walk through me, then and I'm peacefully standing here. I'm peacefully demonstrating. Then at that point, you're breaking up a peaceful protest. So you're actually disturbing me in that sense.
Yeah.
Um, but um, you know, we've like you said, at the end of the day, I have no dog in the race. I have no dog in the fight whatsoever. Like,
Yeah.
if there's laws being broken, and at that point, if police got to get involved, then police got to get involved. If there's physical demonstrations or physical altercations, whether it be misunderstandings, anything of that nature, then police have to get involved.
So let me ask you a question real quick, Chris. Sorry to cut you off.
No, no, no.
If you was doing a protest, would you wear a mask if you were protesting?
Would I wear a mask if I was
Like, would you cover
protesting?
your face? Would you feel the need to cover your face if you were fighting for something you believe in?
I mean, I have, so I guess in that sense, yeah. Like, I mean, I've
So
worn
if it's
I've
a
worn
protest,
like the COVID mask and
right?
stuff.
But if it's a protest for you, because I know you're really against like gun violence. That's like your number one thing. You're not for gun violence at all. If it's a thing of you're gonna go to Leg Hall or whatever and do a protest on a bill they about to pass,
Hmm.
are you gonna be masked up? Or are you gonna come in there with your sign and be like, yo, I'm out here, I'm protesting because I'm against this gun violence that's going on in our cities. I want to change. I want to do this. This is why I'm protesting. I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna protest. Which,
Now, given that the a mask can also be a form of protest, I'm not going to 100% rule it out whatsoever, especially if I can still identify who I am. If
right.
I have no problem with, now, if you asking me would I protest and hide my identity, that's like
That's what I'm asking.
that's like throwing a
Asking.
rock and hiding your hand.
Yeah.
At that point, no, because I
Yeah.
mean that. What was you about to say?
No, keep going. Keep going. You making a good point. You're making a good
No,
point.
I'm just saying that's throwing a rock and hiding your hand. I mean, if I'm protesting something, then I at that point I would assume that I feel strongly enough about it to
Yeah.
voice how I feel about it, and so um I don't think that the two go hand. I don't think the two go hand in hand in terms of protesting, but protesting anonymously. I don't. I
Yeah.
don't. I don't agree with that.
The only reason to bring it up because every time when I look at the protest videos, what I've seen is majority of the time the protesters have their face covered. And I'm looking, I'm like, if I'm feeling strongly about something, now I get it. Maybe because if they're part of the protest, they can face some type of disciplinary action. I get it. If that's the point, okay, cool. I'm 100% with you. If you're gonna face disciplinary and you don't want to be disciplined or you don't want to be suspended, I'm with you. I'm 100% agree with you. But if it's something for I don't want people to know I'm doing this or I have some reservations, then you're not 100% for the cause.
Yeah.
You're
No, I agree.
100% for the cause. You're gonna show your face when individuals was protesting in the '60s, civil rights, segregation. They didn't have masks. You didn't see black folks with masks on. You seen them in a suit. You seen them with their families. You seen them going to work. What I see now with these protests, people wearing is Muslim attire, people covering their faces, people, and it's like, are you really care about your cause? Because if I really cared about my cause, I would be dressed to the nine and I'd be protesting and I'd be doing what I need to do. Why would I? Why would I? Why would I cover my face if it's something I care about? If I'm a pro lifer and I wanna protest, abortion or whatever the case may be, I'm not hiding my hand. This is what I believe in. This is what I care for. You know what I mean? And like you said, if it's something anonymous, then cool, I get it. But if it's something where, I just cover my face, I don't want people to know I'm out here, then you're not really for it. What are you there for? You're more like an antagonist.
For sure, for sure. I mean,
Look at it.
I agree. I agree with that point. As far as if that's what I don't obviously, like I said, I haven't seen too many of the. I've seen some of the videos as far as like some of the stuff that's been going on at graduations and things like that. And that's unfortunate because, um, again, you support everybody's right to protest, and everybody should protest, um, in the manner that they so choose that causes as much uncomfortability as needed to bring awareness to your cause. This cause in particular is just obviously it it hits home for people, and so it's not something that's new, but protest in the way that you feel you need to bring the most awareness. With that being said, like sometimes, and I get that this might not be like super popular to say, but sometimes it doesn't hurt to like you know consider like the when, the where, the time, and the place, and who it may ultimately affect. Because like, unfortunately for some people, they might not be going on to like grad school, and so that might be their one moment. And um, as much as you want to support people's right to protest, you also feel empathy for those people who will only have this moment once, and it might not have gone in a way that um is ideal or was dreamed of because of circumstances that are out of their control. It's it's a tough spot to be in when that's the setting that a protest is had at.
Yeah, good point. Good point. I agree with you. Like you said, I think if it's something where it's a one and done, they just want to do it. They don't have nothing to worry about afterwards. They out there. But I know I want to end it on this. I think I love to see our Bill of Rights being utilized and exercised freely. I hope the police aren't infringing upon their rights and allowing them to protest freely. But when it comes to doing a peaceful protest and it kind of muddies the waters of being a riot or being a disturbing of peace, I think they should be charged accordingly. And I think I think we need to allow these individuals to speak and allow them to have their freedom of speech. Like people, like this is why America is such a great country, because people can literally get on here and protest, burn the flag, say I hate America, but all these things, which is like you're in your right. You couldn't do that in another country. So that's my ending on that.